Today we're going to talk about setting up new businesses and the different business structures that's available to you. If you have trouble on deciding and you're stuck and not know what to do and what the next step is, stick around, we're going to go through it. Guys, so I hear this problem all the time. A lot of business owners come to me and they're wondering what sort of business structures they should be setting the business up. The business structure isn't really the biggest problem, but the biggest problem is that I often hear this month after month, year after year, and they're still stuck on the same question of what business structure, and it's paralyzing them. They can't take the next step because they're just scared and worried about not setting up the business correctly. And so they might get into trouble or something like that. Well, the root problem here is that you're not taking the step necessary to start the business. The real objective here is you got to do whatever it takes to get your business up and running. Don't let this one question hold you back. If you're worried about this question, you want to get an answer, there are many ways for you to get it. And if you go out and find your closest accountant or closest advisor, they'll be able to quickly tell you what the answer is, what is the best structure for you is. And if you're starting out, most of the time, this question isn't really that big of a deal. Okay? And there really is only three main entities or structures that you can operate under anyway. And they are, the first one is a sole trader, where you are the sole proprietor, and the other one is as a company setup, and the third one is to be under a trust. Now, all three have its own advantages and disadvantages, but these advantages and disadvantages are very clear to the advisor that you speak to very, very quickly. But don't let this decision stop you from starting your business. You got to move forward and make sure that your idea comes to life. Don't let this one decision hold you back. So the first option available to you is a sole trader or a sole proprietor. Now this is best for those who wants to keep things simple. Okay, they don't really care about asset protection. They don't really care about all these fancy compliance things that are available to you. Like, for example, distributing income. You're not worried about bringing in partners, but you just want to keep things simple. And a sole trader will be perfect for you. Now, what does that involve? Why is it simple? Because when you do your compliance, you don't have to fill out extra forms. The information that you need to provide is already in your own personal tax return. So you just fill out your own personal tax return. All the information you need to provide as a sole trader goes into there. But if you want to start a business, but you have partners that you want to be involved with, or you have your operations a bit bigger, you got more money invested, and you want to be able to protect yourself a little more, then you may consider setting it up as a company. With a company, we regard that as a separate entity. So all new contracts, all new agreements is between the supplier and the company, not yourself personally. So you're able to remove yourself from the operation and you're able to protect yourself a lot more. The only downside is that it requires a little bit more compliance. It requires a little more work when it comes to the paperwork. The accountants have to prepare financial reports and tax return for the company itself, not just for you alone, but also for your company. That's why the compliance cost is a little higher, but it gives you a little more protection. It gives you more flexibility. And the last one that gives you a lot of flexibility regarding distributing your income and how you transfer all that income and who gets the income and when do they get it is under the trust setup. Setting up as a trust is a little bit more complex. It requires a little bit more consideration in terms of how you arrange all the different parties. If you set up as a trust, you most likely need to set up another company as well, because you cannot hold any income inside the trust. You have to distribute it. So by the time you reach to a trust setup, you may also need other entities involved to make it work properly. So that means more costs and more compliance costs for you. So if you're still looking for reference materials or something to read in more detail, you can go to my website at annika.com.au/author. The link will be listed below. Just register and we'll be able to send you out an ebook. It's called Tax Tactics for Mere Mortals, and it'll be able to list out all the details of the different advantages and disadvantages of all these different structures in there, along with many other valuable materials. If you have any questions, please comment below. But as always, I appreciate your subscription. You can subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until then, thank you very much. Goodbye.